Hello and welcome back to another easy online German video training. Today I'm going to show you how to pronounce a special sound. It's one of the Germanic vowel mutations, or Umlaute as we say in German, and this Umlaut is still missing in my trainings about German pronunciation. And in fact it's the short Ü sound which we are going to talk about today. This is always a short sound in the German language. I don't know what it's like in the other languages, but I think it's the same. This sound is different than the long Ü sound. It's not as intensive and it's also not as close as this long German Ü sound. It's Ö, Ö. And even for me it's difficult to pronounce this sound as a long sound because I only know it as a short sound. So maybe this comforts you that I also have problems in explaining how to pronounce this special sound. The short Ü sound, Ö, not only occurs in German, but it also appears in other languages like Dutch, Faroese, Swedish, Icelandic, Quebec French, which is the French spoken in and around Quebec, Wu Chinese, and Western Armenian, and some other dialects. The short Ü sound Ö also has a special sign in the phonetic script. It looks like a big Y or capital Y, whereas the sign for the long Ü sound looks like a small y. In brackets you can see the sign which is used in the phonetic script. The short Ü sound Ö is a near-close vowel and the long Ü sound is a close vowel. Now, what is a near-close vowel? The tongue is not quite so constricted as a close vowel. So the tongue is not as close to the roof of the mouth or the palate. And I think you can see it very well. Ü, Ö, Ü, Ö. 5, for example, is the German number 5. So it's a mix between the short I and the short U sound, whereas the long Ü is a mix between the long I and the long U sound. So let's start with the short I sound. I, it's the same sound we have in the word in, and in English it's also the same word in, or the German word for I, which is ich. So it's I. This is a near-close vowel, and this means that the tongue is not quite so constricted as a close vowel. So if I pronounce the long I sound, I, the tongue is closer to the roof of the mouth. When I pronounce I, it's not as close to the roof of the mouth or the palate. So the height is near close and the backness is near front. Now what is near front? Near front means that the tongue is positioned almost as far forward as a front vowel. The long sound E is a front vowel. Just to give you an example of a front vowel, and E is near front. So this means that the tongue is positioned a little more at the back. The roundedness is unrounded, so the lips are spread. Now we get to the short U sound, U, which is also a special sound. This sound appears in the word rund or Mund, for example. It's a near close vowel, like the short E sound I too. And it's a near back vowel, so the backness is near back. For example, the close vowel U is also a back vowel. So this means that the tongue is positioned as far back in the mouth as possible. The backness of the short U sound O is near back. Concerning the roundedness, you can say it's generally rounded. The lips are rounded to a greater or lesser degree. So it's a bit ambiguous, but generally you can say we have a roundedness, but this roundedness is not protruded. We have a protrudedness when we pronounce U, so the inner surfaces of the lips are exposed, and this is a protruded roundedness. However, we don't have that when we pronounce the short U sound O, O, rund, Mund, und, so this is not really protruded. And by the way, don't mix it up with the sound O, for example. This is a close mid vowel, and we also have the open O sound O. This is an open mid vowel. So the close sound U is the closest, then comes U, and then comes O, and then comes O. And U, O, and O also have this protrudedness, which means that the inner surfaces of the lips are exposed. These three vowels U, O, and O are all back vowels, whereas the short U sound O is a near back vowel. So near back means that the tongue is positioned as in a back vowel, but slightly further forward, so a little more at the front. Okay, now we get to the actual sound of this training, and this is the short U sound Ö. This is a near close vowel, like the other vowels too, and is also a near front vowel. So, for example, when you have the long U sound Ü, this is a front vowel, and Ö is a near front vowel. So the tongue is positioned almost as far forward as a front vowel, only a little more at the back. We have a roundedness, but it's not protruded, it's compressed, which means that the margins of the lips are tense and drawn together in such a way that the inner surfaces of the lips are not exposed. For example, if we have the Ü sound, you can also see that the corners of the mouth are tense and drawn together. And if we have the short U sound Ö, it's more open and the corners of the mouth are also drawn together and tense, but the inner surfaces of the lips are not exposed. Now what can we do to get closer to this short U sound Ö? Some time ago I read about a study at a university in the United States. There was a group of German students and they played an audio file, and I think it even was the German example word I chose. It is the German number 5, which is fünf. So fünf has this short Ü sound Ö, and the students were just listening to the audio file, and then they were told to pronounce the word, and they said fünf. Fünf, so they pronounced it with a short E sound I. And then they were shown a video in which a native speaker pronounced the word fünf, and when they saw how the German native speaker pronounced it, they were able to pronounce it correctly because they saw the lip position. So it's not fünf, the lips are not spread, but we have a compressed roundedness with the margins or corners of the mouth tense and drawn together, and the inner surfaces of the lips are not exposed. So fünf, and see the difference, fünf, fünf. So the trick is you have to pronounce a German short E sound I, but it's a sound which also appears in other languages. But I think the Spanish speakers don't have this sound, at least someone told me that. So if you don't know the short E sound I, then it might also be difficult because it's not an E sound. E is much more intensive and also closer and also more in the front than this short E sound I. But I think this is the best way to practice the pronunciation of this sound, the short U sound Ö, fünf. So we have the same tongue position. you can say fünf first with the lips spread, but when you pronounce fünf, you see the corners of my mouth are tens and my lips are round, as if I wanted to pronounce the short O sound. So this is the trick. You have to make your lips round, as if you wanted to pronounce the short U sound O, but don't allow your tongue to move. This sounds complicated, I know, but I think it's the best way to get closer to this U sound. And we can also practice a bit when we try to pronounce the example words I chose. We also have other words with the short U sound Ö. For example, the word for to press, which is drücken. Drücken. You can also try to pronounce dricken first with your lips spread. Drücken. Drücken. In brackets you see the phonetic script, and right after the D we have a guttural R, which is rubbed between the back part of the tongue and the uvula. So it's not r, it's not rolled, but it's rubbed. You just have to make this channel a little more narrow. R, drücken, drücken. So it's rubbed very slightly. And we have the grouped consonant CK, and this is a bit like double K, but we don't write double K. This doesn't exist in the German language. We always write CK, and we have a short vowel in front of CK, and we have an unstressed E at the end. Therefore we use an E turned upside down in the phonetic script. So you can try to say dricken, drücken, dricken, drücken. I think the most difficult thing about this training is to keep the tongue where it is, so don't move your tongue. And we have another word, which is the German word for, to wish, and the German word is wünschen. Wünschen. So you can try to say wünschen first, if it's easier for you. Wünschen, and then make your lips round. Wünschen. Maybe it's easier if you make your lips round before you pronounce the V sound. Wünschen. This may be easier for you. You can give it a try. If this works better, we have a W, and this means that we have a V sound. So this is pronounced like the English V. Wünschen, and we have the grouped consonant SCH, which is pronounced sh. So in English you write SH, and in German we always write SCH. We have an unstressed E in the last syllable again. We have the E turned upside down in the phonetic script, and the stress is on the first syllable, like in the word drücken too, and therefore we use a little tick in the phonetic script. This little tick always marks the stressed syllable in a word, so here the first syllable is stressed. We have this little tick right in front of the V, or in front of the first syllable. The German word for citizen is Bürger, Bürger. You can try to say Bürger first, if it's easier. Bürger, and then make your lips round, but keep the same tongue position. Bürger, Bürger. If it's easier, you can make your lips round before you pronounce the B. Bürger. And it's also important that you have the corners of your mouth tense. So it's Bürger. So it's this position. If you're able to pronounce Ü, it's just a little more open and a little more at the back. Ü, Ö, Ü, Ö. If we look at the phonetic script, we have the sign, of course, for the short Ü sound, which looks like a capital Y, and we have a hard G sound, and we have a central R sound at the end. We have the ER ending, and this is always pronounced like a central R sound. So it's Bürger, not Bürger. And the stress is on the first syllable. Again, we have the little tick in front of the B. And we get to the last example word, which is the German word for to have to do something. So if you must do something, and in German the infinitive is müssen. Müssen. So you can try to say missen first. Maybe you can think of the word to miss someone. To miss, missen. So try missen first and then make your lips round. Maybe it's easier if you make them round before you pronounce the M. Müssen, müssen. And by the way, don't mix this sound up with the Ö sound. This is a different sound. We have the long Ü sound, Ü, and we have the short Ü sound, Ö, like in fünf, Ö, and we have the Ö sound and the sound. So the long Ü sound, Ü, is a close vowel, and the Ö sound is a close mid vowel, and the sound is even more open. This is an open mid vowel. And this Ö sound lies between the Ü sound and the Ö sound. So Ü, Ö, Ö, and Ö. And the sounds Ü, Ö, and Ö are all front vowels, whereas the short Ü sound Ö is a near front vowel. So the tongue is positioned almost as far forward as a front vowel, but it's slightly more at the back. So this was all about the Germanic umlaut Ö. I know it's a difficult sound for those of you who don't have this sound in their own mother tongue, but maybe this training helped you to pronounce it better or even correctly. So you can leave a comment if it was useful for you, if you could learn something, and I hope that somehow you got familiar with this special sound. So for today I say bye-bye. This is one of my last pronunciation videos before we get to further lessons about conversational German. So keep on practicing, and I hope to see you when I present my next video. So stay tuned. Bye bye, or as we say in German, tschüss.